Like, did you get to eat breakfast?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Hi. Hello. Happy December 6th. Happy Bookmas season. Happy Vlogmas season. This is going to be Bookmas Day 3. I'm filming it the same day I'm going to be uploading it. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm going to have so much time to get Bookmas Day 3, Bookmas Day 4, start working on Bookmas Day 6. That is not what happened. I did have a big crash out yesterday about... oh my goodness. I did have a big crash out yesterday just about like dealing with the loss of my mom, and so we missed some time, we missed some opportunity, but that's okay. We needed to sob in the shower for an hour yesterday. Welcome back to the channel, to my channel. I'm Sammy, Samantha Marie-a-lot, if you will. Originally I was gonna film a gift guide, a bookish wish list. What am I gonna contribute to that that's been different than what's already out there? Because the options that are out there are good. Basically, if you do have a bookish girly in your life, a girl who loves to read, I mean, get her books. If you want to love her so deeply, buy her a book, read it, and annotate it for her. So I was gonna do that, changed my mind. Then I was gonna do my top 10 book boyfriends. But as I'm picking out those books to do book boyfriends, I picked up 3 Emily Henry books, and I was like, oh my goodness, is this excessive? Is this crazy that all of my book boyfriends are coming from Miss Emily Henry herself? And then I was like, what if I just ranked? What if I gave you a tier ranking of my Emily Henry books? What if we ranked these in order of what my least to most favorite is? And now all of these books are 4 stars and above. Here that dog goes again, barking. Not that this has never been done before, it has, but my tier ranking hasn't been done before. And so if you're here, it might be important for you to know what the lineup here is for me, okay? I have only ever read all of these books once through. I have never done a reread. Do I want to reread every single one of these books? Absolutely. Do I think I'll film a video rereading every single one of these books and updating the tier ranking? Definitely. That'll come at some point in time. I just not this time, you know? My tier ranking is gonna upset some people. Again, just know these are all like 4 stars and above. I have some 6-star reads. Her writing style does something to my brain. I love these books so deeply. But if you don't know anything about Miss Emily Henry, she is an author, the author. She does have a backlist of sci-fi books, which I've never read, but these are her contemporary romance books. But everybody will say and has said that she writes romance novels, but there's a strong undertone of a woman's fiction genre there as well. We're always following a romantic story. You know the characters are gonna end up together in the end, which is why you know it's a romance. They have a happy ending. You know when you start reading the book that the 2 characters you're following are gonna end up together at the end. So it is definitely a romance book, but the female main character is always going through some life change or some big moment in her life, and we're learning about her and how she's gonna overcome these challenges, grow as an individual. They do make you cry sometimes. They're not a potato chip book, you know? These are important works of literature, and it is that serious. What else do I want to say? I mean, she is one of my favorite authors. She does have one of my favorite books I've ever read in this list. I think we could just get into it. Coming in number 6, and I'm so sorry. At the bottom of my pyramid, at the bottom of my list, is gonna be Beach Read. Beach Read does fall last on my list, but it's a fantastic book and I would recommend it to everybody. So in Beach Read, we're following Augustus Everett and January Andrews, who are both authors. Augustus is a literary fiction writer. January writes romance. They are very opposite from each other. They sort of have a rivalry. January's dad has passed away and she inherits his beach house, which happens to be right across the street from Augustus, her old college rival. They run into each other in this small little beach town. They decide that they are each gonna take each other's genre of writing seriously. So he's gonna teach her about writing a literary fiction novel and she's gonna teach him all about romance. So they start going on these dates that would be perfect for romance novels. We see January deal with her grief and unravel all of the levels to that, while also dealing with being in a writing slump, while also falling in love with her rival. Great book, would recommend it to anyone. I will say I read this I was reading this at what I thought would have been the perfect setting. I read this on a trip we went to in Mexico. One of my friends was getting married there, so we decided to make a whole vacation, week-long vacation out of it. We were by the beach, by the pool, and I was like, oh my goodness, gonna read this beach read. And then we got pretty devastating news on that trip that my mom's colon cancer was stage 4. So I was reading this book during quite an unbearable time to exist, and I don't know that that was the most fair opportunity to be reading this book, but I do go a little bit back and forth. There's like two ends of it. Did I not give this book the most fair chance because of what I was going through at the time, or did this book not give me a fair enough chance to come out of what I was going through at the time? But also, like, this probably just wasn't a good book to be reading then, because you are talking about grief, and now I'm finding out that one of the most important people in my life is someone that I'm possibly going to be grieving 30 years before I ever thought I would even have to think about something like that. I need to reread this one day, but that is why it falls at number 6. So please don't come for me with that number 6. It is what it is. Number 5 is Funny Story. I don't love keeping like the dust jackets, so I just have the hard cover. This is when I finally was up to date, I believe, on reading Emily Henry books as new releases. That's why this one is gonna be hardback and the others are all that paperback version. But we're following Miles and Daphne, who have both just gone through a breakup, but their separate partners are together, and so now they're both out in the world trying to figure things out. But Daphne was living with that person and he owned the house and all those sorts of things, so she got kicked out of her home, and so she's actually now living with Miles. They've spent a lot of time just kind of ignoring each other, paying no mind to each other, operating on different life schedules, and all of a sudden they start to form this unlikely friendship, this unlikely bond, and then of course romance ensues, unravels from there. I did think it was going to be higher on my list because Miles, the male main character, is very golden retriever, silly, goofy, which is kind of how I would describe my actual man in life. Because of that and the way he made me think of him, I was like, oh, this is probably gonna skyrocket to like a number 1 or a number 2. But I mean, it didn't end up doing that. Not any particular reason. It's just like Emily Henry books, this is top tier competition right here. You know, these are the book Olympics. This is not the 6th grade first track meet. We're Olympic level here. There are some pretty incredible quotes from this. Here's one. Taking the soft musk of books and the hint of pine and something I can't name but recognize like an old friend. You're the reason for the word wonderful. It really shouldn't be used for anything else. But you make me love so easy, Daphne. You make me think I already deserve it, exactly how I am. Oh, because you do, Miles. Oh, you know what? I think the reason I didn't like this was maybe their third act situation and the way maybe Miles reacted to some things. I think that's what threw this one off for me, so I do have an actual reason. I see him laugh, but I can't hear it and I feel robbed of the sound. That would never happen with my husband, Brian. You can hear his laugh 4 miles away. That's just loud. See, it's still so good. It's still so good. Next on my list, number 4, is People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. Now this tends to be number 6 on a lot of people's lists that I've seen, but I really enjoyed this. This is a friends to lovers. We're following Poppy and Alex. Alex is introverted. Poppy is very extroverted, takes up a space when she's in it. College is when they become friends because they drive home, they share a car ride home back to their hometown, and they're both like from the same hometown. We have a 2 timeline situation. We're following previous them and we're following current them. Previous them, we're seeing all these different trips. Poppy, through her work, gets to travel and she always gets to bring someone, and that someone is always Alex. So they go on these trips, so we're seeing all their previous trips and we're leading up to the one that made them stop being friends and stop talking, but we don't know that. And then in the present timeline, we're past that event and we don't know why they haven't talked for so long. I think one of his friends or family members is getting married, and then she takes her next work trip to the same place, and so they like rekindle. They're sharing there's like a 1 bedroom, 1 bed situation, and I love a 2-time, like a past and present narrative. So I thought this one was really, really, really fun. I'm happy just because you exist, and that's as much of my happiness as you have control over. I don't know how to love someone as much as I love you. It's terrifying, and I get these bursts of thinking I can handle it, and then I think about what it will do to me if I lose you, and I panic and I pull away. And I've never known if I'll be able to make you happy, but the other night, it sounds so ridiculous, but we were looking at Tinder and you said you'd swipe right on me, and that's the kind of tiny thing that feels so huge when it's you. Alex, shut up. I cannot freaking wait for this movie. What do you mean Tom Blythe is playing Alex? What do you mean? Because President Snow is the most diabolical man to, like, one of the most to have ever existed on a movie screen, and he made me second guess like that thought for a second. He made me question myself by playing that man. Number 3 is Book Lovers. Book Lovers. In this one, we are following Nora Stevens and Charlie Lastra. Nora Stevens and Charlie Lastra, they're both in the same realm of work, publishing, but maybe one of them's editing and one of them's publishing. Not sure of the exact specifics, ins and outs, but Nora's definitely a city girl. And she's very type A. She lives her life a certain way. She loves to take care of her sister, and that's a big, big piece of this story too, is sisterhood. Nora's younger sister Libby wants to go to this small town, Sunshine Falls, North Carolina. I believe it's where their favorite book, where the setting is of it. And so they go on this trip in this little cabin, and you know, it's like big city goes to the small town. There she runs into Charlie Lastra, who's kind of a rival. Like, they don't really like each other, but they don't really know each other that much in the city, but now they're here and they run into each other because this is where Charlie Lastra's from. In this small town, they keep getting thrown together in different situations in the small town, and because of that, of course, a friendship and then love kindles, brews comes to be from that. Charlie Lastra, the man he is, the banter in this book is top tier, god level banter. I don't think this is in my annotating phase, so I don't know that I'm gonna have anything underlined, which is so upsetting to not have any quotes underlined from this. Maybe I can just find like some Pinterest ones real quick to give you guys an idea. Maybe love shouldn't be built on a foundation of compromises, but maybe it can't exist without them either. Not the kind that forces two people into shapes they don't fit in, but the kind that loosens their grips, always leaves room to grow. Compromises that say, there will be a U-shaped space in my heart, and if your shape changes, I will adapt. What? That's so sweet. Until you got here, he rasps, all this place had ever been was a reminder of the ways I was a disappointment. And now you're here, and I don't know. I feel like I'm okay. So if you're the wrong kind of woman, then I'm the wrong kind of man. Oh. He kisses the base of my throat. I remember exactly how you feel, Nora. Yeah. Moving on to number 2. This is number 2, Great Big Beautiful Life. We are following Hayden Anderson and Alice Scott in this book. They're both authors, and they both want the rights to this famous woman named Margaret. They want the rights to be able to be the one to write her memoir. With that, Margaret presents a competition. They both go down to Savannah, Georgia. They both have different days of the week that they get to spend with Margaret, and they spend finding out about her story. So in that, we have present timeline with Alice, with Hayden, with Margaret, the interviewing process, the being in this small town together. Then we also get chapters of Margaret's past, Margaret's history. People have said this feels like her most literary fiction type work because the past timeline is very literary fiction-esque, whereas the present is very romance-esque. Fantastic book. I will fight anybody who tries to tell me this book wasn't romantic. I liked the past chapters. I liked the current chapters. I love Hayden Anderson, and I love Hayden Anderson and Alice Scott together. I love this book. I love this book very, very, very deeply. And what else do I have to say about it? Oh, there are like plot twists in this. Crazy plot twist. So keep your eye out for that. I feel like you're mine. Like you're mine in a way no one else ever has been. Yeah. We don't have to end up with regrets, he says. That if we really care about something, we can decide to hold on to it. I prefer that version of the world, I say, smiling up to him. His arms ring my waist, his nose scraping along mine. You do? I nod, the movement gliding our lips briefly across each other. It's yours, he offers. I laugh. Oh, I can have the world? Mine, he says. Yeah. You can have mine. Oh, what do you mean? That is so good. If we're talking about book boyfriends, he's like maybe number 2 on the list. And then top of the pyramid, top of the list, Going 3 for 3. No, but seriously, my number one, Happy Place. Happy Place by Miss Emily Henry. This book. This book is crazy. In this book, we're following Harriet and Wynne. They had this situation in college where there was like this shared room between them, but one of them lived there during like certain semesters and one lived there during the others, and they had never met, and then they finally met. A big theme in this one is friendship. Friendship is a very important theme to this book. They have one of her best friends has this beach house. It's like a Northeast summertime romance. This group of friends always goes there. I believe that's when Harriet and Wynne first meet, is one of the summers there, but they've like kind of gotten to know each other in the sense of like living in the same space, but they've never actually truly met. They try to, in this one you get a past and present tense timeline as well. In the past, you're kind of getting like the build up to their relationship, their history. They're kind of trying to not ruin the friendship, not ruin the friend group, but of course they do. Current timeline, the friend who owns the house, Sabrina, her dad is selling the house, so this is going to be their last summer there. Harriet doesn't want to ruin this trip because it's going to be the last one. It's very sentimental. Harriet and Wynne have broken off an engagement, but they decide to pretend that they are still together, like a fake dating situation, and it is just so special. The friendship in this is so special. The setting to me is so special. Like a Northeastern summer is always going to do something to my brain because that's where I spent my summers. I relate to Harriet on a molecular level in terms of like a lot of things. Probably not her family background. That's the only places like where we differ, but other than that, we pretty much relate. You know, she's been in medical school, she's been busting her butt for school, she's always been good at school, and she goes and gets this degree, and now she's uncertain about it, and maybe she's starting to explore other realms. I would say I'm pretty aligned with that, pretty directly correlated with that, which is crazy. And it's just so cool to see a character that you relate to be loved and understood through someone else's words and through someone else's eyes. Wynne is just a sweetheart. He's, again, very much golden retriever. This, again, was before my annotating phase. My best friends taught me a new kind of quiet. The peaceful stillness of knowing one another so well you don't need to fill the space. And a new kind of loud. Noise is a celebration, as the overflow of joy at being alive here now. I couldn't have imagined being any happier, loving anywhere else as much. Not until Sabrina brought us here to her family's summer home on the coast of Maine. Not until I met Wynne. And then there's a quote, and this kind of happens in Funny Story 2. She says, like, Alice says something about like, my sunlit boy, my sunlit man. You know, he's a sunshine character, and Wynne is kind of a sunshine character too. He's become my best friend the way the others did, bit by bit. Sand passing through an hourglass so slowly, it's impossible to pin down the moment it happens. When suddenly more of my heart belongs to him than it doesn't, and I know I'll never get a single grain back. He's a golden boy. I'm a girl whose life has been drawn in shades of gray. I try not to love him. I really try. Nothing describes my husband and I more than he's a golden boy and I'm a girl whose, you know, life has been drawn in shades of gray. What was me? Yeah, so that book means a lot to me. I know it's some people's also least favorite, which is okay. Again, I think a lot of the times when you find a character that you relate to, it just can change the whole book for you. Dude, and like low-key on this cover too, this like literally gives me and Brian pale dark hair, lighter hair, less pale. That's the official tier ranking of Emily Henry books. I made a joke on a TikTok before that this is something I would never do, but I mean, it's something I can do. I feel pretty like confident and comfortable where these sit for me. I'm very confident about my top 3. Like this right here doesn't change for me. This will literally never change for me. There's my official tier ranking. Comment your tier ranking below. I promise my feelings won't be hurt. I understand why some books mean so much more to one person, whereas others mean something else. But if you don't like Harriet, like maybe just don't let me know. Because my feelings would be hurt. That's Bookmas Day 3. Thanks for watching. Thanks for staying here with me. Thanks for sticking with me. I think Bookmas Day 4 we're going to be doing a little Christmassy reading vlog, so stay tuned for that on December 8th. But happy Bookmas, happy holidays, and happy reading.